Good evening and welcome to the December 6th, 2017 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we get into the agenda, I'd like to ask everybody to please silence your devices. And also, if anyone who would like to address the board and the public is more than welcome to do so, but you need to come up to the podium and identify yourself, and that's for the benefit of people watching on FCTV. All right, first order of business is to vote some minutes. First, August 30th, 2017. I have a couple comments. Susan, you did an amazing job. I know you had to do it from a recording because you weren't here. I don't think anybody was here, is that right?
No.
There were no draft minutes. So there are a number of little things, like a lot of them are people's names missing.
Yeah.
And it was mostly from that Cape Carter Road hearing.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that one of us,
I know some.
yeah, you would know some of those names, or we have.
There's Steve.
Hey, Steve. Good evening. And there were at least two people here from the public that I could contact if you need.
Okay.
To see if we can get those filled in, that would be good. And then there are a couple other things here and there, such as for one RDA, somebody abstained, but it doesn't say who.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
I can figure that out.
Okay. And then there's another hearing in here somewhere where there's no motion or second or close, or, vote to close the hearing. So maybe Jen can look at that. So how about if I pass this in, and Jen, please let me know if you need me to pursue any of these?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, thanks.
What I'm gonna have to do is, we usually give them to Susan to do as many corrections as possible, and then she'll send them back to us.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I could use a motion to,
Motion to accept as corrected? Or
well, I
wanna wait?
think to postpone to another meeting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to postpone.
Second.
So you
Correct.
wanna do what you
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
I'm sorry, who's second?
Betsy did.
So we're gonna postpone that vote until a later meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next, minutes of November 29th. Does anybody have
I
any?
looked at them, I didn't see any issues. I'll move to accept as written.
Second.
All right, anything else from the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Great. All right, other business, vote letter of support for the Falmouth Rod Gun Club. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, so the Sporting Safety and Conservation Education Fund of Falmouth, which is the 501c3 arm of the Rod Gun Club, is applying for Massachusetts Environmental Trust grant, and they are looking for a letter of support, and this is to begin their process of
The river restoration?
the river restoration on that Child's River bog.
Betsy?
Oh, well, we'll finish this, but then I have something else to say.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were gonna.
I'll make a motion to write such a letter. I mean, to have Jen write such a letter on our behalf.
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved, thank you. Betsy, you want to say
So
something?
I had also asked you, but it's not on here, but APCC is also applying for.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and what they're applying for is, we're applying also for the trail, for the interpretive signs for the trail. But anyway, APCC has asked us for a letter, either from the commission or actually, Joanne had reached out to me first and asked if I could write a letter on behalf of the commission saying about the role that APCC has played in helping our project. And what they're applying for is they work with projects, well, you know what the name of what's it called? They're keeping some kind of an inventory of.
It's like a matrix,
Yeah, of
an atlas almost.
yeah, an atlas of stormwater problems, stormwater discharge issues, and various potential restoration projects around the Cape. And it's they're keeping it, but it's to formalize that. So I'd like someone to
Permission
make
to
a
write
motion.
them a letter on behalf of the commission?
Yeah,
Can we do that where it wasn't on the agenda?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, a board will consider any matters not reasonably anticipated.
go.
These grants are due soon.
Time
they're
sensitive.
due
Yeah.
soon.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's
So we
fine.
have a motion from Jamie.
Second.
Thank you. Anything else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Thank you. All right, request for determination of applicability. Michael and Pamela Bachrach, 203 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to locate the existing shed and to construct a 2-bedroom, single-family house with a front entryway to install a Title V sewage disposal system, utilities, dry wells, driveway, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman. We are recommending a -2 under the bylaw, and -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
All those, excuse me, is there anything from the public on this? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Ed and Judy Fothergill, 4 Abbies Lane, North Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to pump, fill, and remove the existing system components and install a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Dave's sitting in the back. Yes, Madam Chairman, we are recommending a -2 under the bylaw and -3 under the state with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Anything from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved. All right. Request, excuse me, Peter.
Did you read that?
It's for the NOIs.
Okay.
She's going to read it right now.
Yes, request for hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All right, we have one NOI tonight, and it is for Green Pond Marina, care of Richard Schaffer, 74 Green Harbor Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to install 245 linear feet of composite sheet piling bulkhead in front of the existing bulkhead that includes the removal of asphalt, excavation of fill, installation of 48 dead men timber piles, 49 tieback rods, 49 12-inch fender piles, 245 linear feet of timber whale beam, 241 linear feet of trench drain, reestablish electrical utility line, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Good evening.
Good evening.
Please use the microphone, and you can take it and walk around with it if you like. It comes out there. Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted.
I'm Lynn Fraker. I'm the permit consultant working with Green Pond Marina, and I'll be presenting the project along with Tim Santos from Homes and Bread. And the one thing that we'd like to pass out an additional copy of these, which should make it a little easier for you to see the project. So basically, this project is to rebuild and a minor modification in 245 feet of this bulkhead. The bulkhead will be excavated behind to level of mean high water. The sheathing will be cut down to mean high water. The existing pilings and any other whalers will be removed. Composite material will be driven down right alongside the existing pilings, existing sheathing on the outside, and then the pilings and the whalers will be replaced. This area in the back, it goes about 20 feet. There's dead men back here, and there's all the joining that goes back there. This will be excavated And everything will be looked at to see if it needs to be replaced or not. Probably it will be, but anyway, so this is all in existing area. This has all been done before. This is the second time that this project has been done. It was done back in, I think, 97. That's the last time it was done. So there's really no little bit of in-water work. And also, this excavation, the area excavated, there'll be a drain trench, which you can see in the plan will be installed back here. Do you have any questions about this project?
Thank you. Jen?
Is there any way the new sheeting can't go behind the existing bulkhead to stop the incremental encroachment into Green Pond? This is the second time this project has been done. The first time was it was done, was the sheeting put in front?
There was no sheeting.
It was just
built.
Rebuilt.
No, it was just built. So this time, and it's 10 inches, it only goes 10 inches out, it's not that far. It wouldn't really work to put it in behind, it really needs to go just as.
It has worked in other cases to put it behind.
Right, I think this is the same as East Marine, and I think that, that it would be much better and much more efficient to have it in the front. It encroaches, but it only encroaches 10 inches. I mean, it's a very small amount. And to put it behind would mean more work in the, it just, you have a better, let the engineer explain it.
Well, my concern is the incremental encroachment and the fact that I have run into issues before with sheathings being put in front of existing bulkheads, and, you know, it is not, the end result was not good, for lack of a better term. It was in Falmouth Inner Harbor. So I'm a big advocate if they can put these types of sheathing behind the existing bulkhead, then that's where I would like to see them go.
I'd also like to interject on this point. I had exactly the same reaction, and I still do, unless there's something that makes it not feasible or not effective. And the other thing I would say about it is you did an alternatives analysis, which I don't believe was required for this situation, but nonetheless you did one, and it was an obvious thing to have included, and you didn't. And so it left me wondering, what's, you know, how come?
Good evening. For the record, Tim Santos from Homes and McGrath. Similar to most of the other projects that we've either done for the town or private people on the Inner Harbor or other waterways, we feel that it's best to, if this was the third or fourth time we were coming in here, I would probably agree with you. But we feel in this case, seeing that it's only the second time, that it's best for the environment and the resource areas to drive the sheeting in front of the existing wooden sheeting that's there, because we use it as a guide, one, and two, it produces the least amount of fines and siltation into the resource area being the pond. I understand where everyone's coming from, but it's a similar application that this board's approved in the past for many projects.
Have you done any borings along that wall to make sure there's not any obstructions that you're going to hit while you're driving that sheeting in, Tim?
It's all, as far as borings, no, we haven't, but I don't anticipate any issues with driving that sheeting there.
When it comes to sheeting in front of bulkheads, don't use the term "I don't anticipate." Nobody anticipates anything, Tim. I'm not trying to give you guys a hard time. I'm really not, but I got burned real bad in a case like this, so I'm extra cautious. Before I would actually recommend the board approve something like this, I would want you to go out and do some borings just to make sure and to make us comfortable that this can be done. I do have some concerns with it going in the front, that's all. So I want to make sure that when you're driving it, if the board does approve it in the front, that you don't get kicked out even more at one point because of a boulder or an obstruction or something. That's all.
Also, you're planning to excavate behind the wall, so.
The excavation is only down, 2 feet, 2.5 feet tops, and that's for the installation of the tiebacks. We're above mean high water. We don't anticipate hitting any groundwater in that area. That's, again, it's a similar project that this board's approved time and time again, and it's the same exact design that you approved a year ago at East Marine. Again, I understand your concerns, but we felt this is the best design for this location.
We also made you go back and do borings along East Marine.
It might have been after the fact, but I don't remember.
No, Chip Schultz did the work, right?
Yeah, he did, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying, it was after the hearing was closed. If the board wants to condition that, I don't think Green Pond Marina would have an issue with it, but it wasn't, I
Well,
don't
I'm
believe it was
pretty-
during the hearing,
Well,
because I'm pretty sure that was closed the first night.
did you have anything else, Jen?
No, that would be my only concern. I mean, it's pretty developed there. My only concern is that creep into the harbor, and, if it, any way possible to put it behind the existing wall, great.
Okay, let's see what the rest of the board has to say. Kevin?
Just a question. The sheeting that's there, is that the original installation
Yes, from 1997.
from 1997? So 20 years. So this application,
This is, the application that's there now is wooden sheeting,
yeah,
and this is composite sheeting.
yeah.
So, I can't tell you it's gonna last forever, but if it's installed correctly, you're not gonna see me back here requesting to replace the sheeting. They say 40, 50 years.
Yeah, it's more like we won't see anything.
I'm 72, so,
I'll check
I get a little
Nervous?
nervous about that.
Is that all, Kevin?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
Yes, I have a question about the new drain trench. I noticed the clamshell next to the bulkhead had been sunken down when I was at the site visit. Could you explain the drain trench purpose?
Yeah, in accordance with stormwater management standards on commercial sites, we're supposed to bring it up to the best of our ability to handle any runoff. Other projects that we've done along the harbors or water resource areas, we've added a drain trench in front of the bulkhead to contain any runoff that comes across the parking lot. It would be infiltrated by the drain trench instead of just rolling out into the harbor, or in this case, the Green Pond.
And where does the drain trench
It's an
water
infiltration.
runoff go?
It's an infiltration trench.
Okay,
It would percolate down into the ground.
okay.
It's
Okay,
crushed
thank you.
stone.
Betsy?
So, I guess I had your concern with the excavation here. How much of the asphalt and stuff is gonna be ripped up? And what kind of provisions are there gonna be to keep any materials from going into the pond, should there be a 5-inch rain?
So they're not gonna expose the whole thing at once. Obviously, we're gonna have to work in manageable sections as it states on the plan. There is a scope of work, construction methodology type thing. So they would work in manageable sections, and what they're exposing is say they work in like a 10-foot section, they're gonna expose that 10-foot section, excavate back, expose any of the existing dead men or tiebacks that need to be replaced. If they need to be replaced, they would be cut, removed, and the sheeting would be installed. The new tieback would be installed, tied into the dead men, and then backfilled. Any of the material that would be removed during that time would be stockpiled up on the higher side of the property. And, hay bales would be placed around it. I believe in the scope of work, it talks about that as well. That's on the plans.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer or help answer the question?
Help, certainly helps.
What's that?
Yeah.
Jamie? Oh, Jen. Go ahead.
One quick question. Tim, do you guys have a contractor yet?
No, is Fred Leach?
Yes.
Fred Leach from the Green Pond Marina is here with us this evening. That's who I was looking at. They've talked with some consultants, but they have not selected a contractor yet.
Okay, so just be prepared to see a pre-construction
Yeah.
condition.
I think that there's a note on the plan about that
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Okay, Jamie?
Just a question about the drainage. The layers of stone is gonna be your filtering
Correct,
for that, percolation.
correct.
Mark?
Basic project.
I like the idea of putting it in front of the existing wall. I think that's the least disruptive way to do it. That's the only comment I have.
What was that, Mark? So,
I like the idea of having it in front of
In
the
front,
existing
okay.
wall rather than behind. I think that's far less disruptive. I've seen that done in other places, and it
oh,
goes
I've
in
seen it
clean.
done, yeah.
Well, it goes in clean unless there happens to be a big rock. We've all seen big rocks too.
And
Give them more
then
property too.
Yeah.
This much,
Big Rock, the whole thing's getting ripped out.
All set?
that's all.
Steve?
My question, again, was related to the drainage. It appeared that the deterioration was caused because of drainage issues
Yeah.
in back of the existing bulkhead?
Correct. Just over time, the water.
And with a French drain or infiltration drain?
It's an infiltration basin and it's fiberglass, composite material, so there should be no deterioration from the composite material.
And that was the main reason for the need to replace the bulkhead, was the...
It's starting to deteriorate, correct.
Right, because from the water side, it looks okay until you get up on top of it.
There's certain spots that need to be replaced and deteriorated.
I'm not going to argue with your
Yeah,
right
so
to
it's
replace
best
your
to
bulkhead
do
whenever you
everything.
want. But, okay. I was worried that with the drainage, it was going to just continue the same problem, but this will correct that problem.
It will help that problem.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
All right, Mark?
I have one other question. More for interest. Why do you need all the dead men and the pilings on 5 feet centers? That sounds like a,
The structural engineer that stamped the plan requires that. It's designed to hold a specific load because they've moved, if you've been to the site, the boats are stored in the winter in the upland side. And there's a big, what I'll term as a boat mover. And they go very close to that, they go very close to the edge of the bulkhead, and so therefore you need the structural stability for it not to blow out.
extra load.
Okay.
Betsy?
So I just want to go on from what Steve said. So even if you said that this drain is going to improve the situation, which I am inferring means not as much water will get there, but also this material isn't going to deteriorate with water from behind, is it?
No, no, not it's composite material, it will not deteriorate.
I have one other comment. It's very picky, and it's essentially irrelevant to this project, but I think not to the record, which is it would be nice to have the A and B zones to the coastal bank, the man-made coastal bank on the plan.
Oversight, I apologize, and we can add it for you.
Thank you. It's just nice, you know, for things in the record to have our jurisdiction
I
showing.
understand.
And not just land under,
Oh,
land containing shellfish. Tim's there. You can pick the most relevant.
You didn't think you're gonna be able to walk out of here
No.
that easy, Tim, did you?
well, thanks for making
agree
me
with
not
you,
the
Mark.
pickiest person.
I agree with you.
I think we have a locust, right? We got the locust map on there?
Maurice
Yes, you
Gill.
do.
Yes, you do.
It's tiny.
My first bulkhead.
All right, so Tim, you're definitely gonna have a condition on the pre-construction. Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
They have to cut it dead, but
All right. Anything else you folks would like to say, or the applicants? Anything else from the board?
Like a
Motion, please.
close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Seconded.
All
You
right.
sound like you're not sure about that.
Anybody the
Close
option to say
hearing
anything
and-
else? Close the hearing and take it under advisement.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
There
Thank
you
you.
go, thank
Thank
you.
you for your time. I'm not gonna be here next week, so I wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
Thanksgiving. You already have Thanksgiving?
Christmas.
Whatever.
Now we know what your favorite holiday is.
I know.
I've already had 2 birthdays this week, come on.
You don't look that old.
That's Lynn.
That's a bad plan.
Well, one in,
I
2 generations.
I knew someone years ago with a
Lynn?
birthday of February
What's your
29th. and
consulting
she,
firm
you know,
called,
was
or you
planning on
just-
being forever young.
There you go.
All right, moving along.
Thank you.
To voting orders of conditions. First up, 141 Sandwich Road. Oh, I'm
We have
sorry, I'm sorry,
an
I'm sorry, I missed the
extension.
extension. Excuse me. Request to extend the existing order of
Oh,
conditions.
Tim? You have an extension of.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
my fault, I overlooked it. Charles Jeffrey and Veronica Jordan, 207 Meadow Neck Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts, DEP 25-3888. Request a one-year extension, expires this December 26th.
Is that 30 days from now?
No, next year.
Yeah,
So this is,
You're actually doing this ahead of time?
Oh, it's a year ahead of time?
yeah.
oh, excuse me, that's right.
Or is that a typo? Just agree.
Hang on.
Yes, it was an early Christmas
This
gift
is the
for us.
big, this is the huge wall out, sorry, Peter. This is the huge wall, it's the one of the very end, it's like the second to the last property in Falmouth off of Meadow Neck.
It's with that beautiful view out, that,
Yeah.
Has work begun?
Oh, look, Tim, vinyl sheeting.
Yes, work has begun.
Yeah, work was done,
To be
yeah.
honest, I'm not, I know there's still some stuff left, but I did not review it with Jeff today. So
Hang on.
I'm not positive what's left, but I know there's still some work to be done, that's why they requested
Okay.
it.
So this must be the
Extension.
typo, it must be this year.
must be some.
Most of the work is completed, but the applicant reports there is a bit more planting of native shrubs and beach grass remaining, which is scheduled to be completed next year, and they are looking for a one-year extension. This is like
Confirm that
the,
it's about to expire rather than a year.
it's the 2017,
Yeah,
not
okay.
18, that was a typo.
I move that we extend for a year.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Merry Christmas, Tim.
Happy
Good job
holidays
on that
again, Tim.
All right,
about that.
now,
Here you go.
moving ahead to where I tried to jump to prematurely. Order of conditions, 141 Sandwich Road. We have a quorum, please.
All of you.
Is everybody, okay.
Not Mark.
Oh, yes, not Mark.
Not
Sorry, Mark.
Okay. Is Mark on any of these? Can we excuse
No.
him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They're
Would
all-
You
like
are
to
excused, Mark.
May I ask
Thank
a
you.
question?
Yes, of course.
Do you want me to say who was here for that vote?
If you'd like.
I'm
Okay.
just going to remind you before you
All right.
go about next week.
I think I'm gonna,
Next week we have the
but
special meeting.
I'm gonna stay.
Oh, okay.
I wanna hear
That's
what
fine, fine.
happens anyway.
All right,
When
141
did these get
Sandwich Road.
Same thing
Last
there.
week? So they're due.
This is the Falmouth Service Center, the new property they're acquiring, or have acquired, I guess.
Lisa.
And this is where Betsy and Maury suggested a change in the parking configuration to get it all out of the A zone, right?
Right,
Yep.
correct.
Were they gonna do a new plan?
Yeah,
I think they should do a new plan.
well, I think they were supposed to have a new plan.
I don't know if a revised plan has come in, but I'll double check. I didn't see,
But yeah,
if it is, it would be in the, if you want to go look in the folder. Courtney's really good, she would have put it right in the folder.
Oh, let me check. Sorry.
And does anybody recall anything else we discussed about this?
Hang on. I don't think so. It was just, I think Courtney wanted a
141.
a management plan on the remove, parking revised plan Remove parking from A zone, let me write, remove parking,
Mary?
Yes.
A zone.
I had note here that it was going to be on the order of conditions for the relocated parking area.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so.
Yeah, so they're
going
gonna
on the
say,
order-
yeah, so it's gonna be a revised plan. Sometimes they'll put a revised plan in, but
Right.
revised plan, remove
Well, if
parking.
we put it in the order of conditions, that implies that they
Yeah,
have to send
relocate.
it in afterwards, not now.
Relocate
They were waiting on the planning board, the ZBA.
Oh, that's right.
parking, yep. And then we had need permission from the owner because the owner is incorrect. The
Oh.
owner information from the adjacent lot is labeled as Town of Falmouth and,
Right, there's no revised plan.
okay,
Right, but
Are we
according to
sure?
Peter's notes, it was to go into the order. of
soil is
conditions.
supposed to be removed off-site and not in landfill.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah,
The soil,
Yes,
Because of-
correct.
Not we.
not weed,
Not read, indeed.
not weed.
Yes, it was.
and Courtney wanted a knotweed control methodology.
I think that's a bit much.
I thought it was a bit
If
much.
it's going to be removed off-site, what else is there to it, really?
Yeah, they're gonna, because it will come back and they can just treat it. So, I don't think it's a huge deal. They're gonna excavate most of that soil out, but there's just so much of it down there, even the soil they excavate out, it's just gonna march right back through. So, they can't keep battling it. The only way to really do that is to cut it and mow it, just
And there
down.
was a note about AC pads.
Yep, AC unit.
If they get added or where, and or where.
AC units, okay.
That's all I had.
Well, I had in pink,
That's a lot of pink.
a
Madam
lot of
Chair,
pink.
Yes.
what was the resolution of the issue with the parking lot in Area A?
They're going to,
Because I have been looking at the Emerald House, and I'm surprised at how many cars are there every day.
Yeah, so they're
And
gonna
it's at
take,
the end of my street, you would have thought I would have known, but there's 20 cars there.
so.
yeah, they're gonna take that
Frequent.
parking and relocate it onto the other side, so where
Right.
they're gonna have
Okay.
double
It's
parking
gonna be
on
a
some
double
And we'll
part.
still be able to back in and out.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
there's no-
Considering the population, that
yeah, because it's the same distance as the
people
other
like me
side.
that can't back up.
I have no idea.
Yes,
What was that?
I think Mike Orselli
Who
offered
signed this?
either
To move
Betsy or
to the-
Lori
no, no,
a
no.
job
No,
with his engineering firm after they made the
Oh, yeah,
proposal they
sorry.
made, so.
Okay,
I guess it was satisfactory.
If someone signs,
excellent.
who's
All right,
next?
so.
Thank you.
And she can't.
No, she can't sign either.
And Maury and Courtney will just come in later and sign.
I'll make a motion that we accept as discussed.
It goes with the CR.
I would second
Yeah, it goes
that.
with the
Excuse
CR.
me, we have a motion
One
and a
meeting.
second.
We're all set, everybody's ready.
All right, so,
These guys can do two things at the same time.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, unanimous, so moved. But we need Susan to be able to hear what we're doing,
Yes.
among other things.
She's a wonder, isn't she?
She is a wonder.
You can tell from the
I know
August
what you're
minutes.
thinking of.
Okay, next,
I
45.
am. Are you working on it?
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you. 45 Morris Street.
That's the little deck that was on the overcome the presumptions,
Yes, right.
coastal bank. We gotta make a finding of that. And that I think he was going to do ooh, look, more pink. I was gonna say a single rail fence, move the tree, revised plan.
Yeah, you're right about overcoming the presumption.
Yep.
No locust map. That's-
We're gonna move the tree from one side to the other
Yep.
and revised plan.
The trees, yes, the tree's gonna go over in the
Yeah.
flood zone.
He's revising the plan. Could he add a locust map?
Add locust. Got it.
Thank you.
Just to get into the habit.
Mm-hmm.
I move that we approve as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, so moved. All right, next, 169 Walker Street. This also has no locust map.
Yeah, denied.
This was Maria's She's going to have the jute matting on the bank.
Right.
3-year monitoring program. And we'd like her to use less rose and more arrowwood.
Yes.
We're gonna have banks of Virginia rose all over the place. Just kind of, arrowwood's gonna grow a little taller than the rose, it'll give it some structure.
And a whole lot of perennials.
Well, here,
And then she's putting perennials in the front, where there's currently lawn. So,
I move that we approve as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Finally, we have 6 Uncatina North.
that's another restoration one, they're amending their permit so that the restoration can be done prior to the pool reconstruction.
Right. Right, pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And we did get we had a discussion on the wall again, but they're not going to do anything with the vegetation over that wall. So,
I move that we approve as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, unanimous, so moved. Yes, I have like a very quick thing, just want to remind everyone here on the board of our special training session next Wednesday before our regular meeting. It's from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the Herman Room at the library. And for the benefit of the public out there, because of this session, the Conservation Commission's regular meeting will be starting at 8 p.m. next week.
No, it's gonna be downstairs, no?
I think it's going to be here. Why would it be
I
downstairs?
don't know, I
Why
thought,
wouldn't it be here?
because that's what I heard, what can I tell you?
Construction?
Who spread that rumor?
Well, why don't we resolve that later?
All right.
no, you're gonna meet here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, thank
everything
you.
will be over here. So we're going from the Herman Room back here, guys.
Right, okay. And we might, if we can, have maybe put a sign up before everybody's over at the other place, just
Yep.
so that if anybody shows up early, they will understand what's happening.
Is it, will be 8 o'clock?
It will, we are starting this meeting, our regular meeting at 8,
Okay.
yes.
And we're hoping it's a short meeting.
Yeah, we have 2 NOIs
So
and
far,
1
it should
continued
be.
NOI.
Yeah, I only accepted 3 notices for that day, and there's 1 notice of intent. You've got 1 dredging project that you've already seen, it's Rand's Canal.
Rand's Connect, no.
Rand's Canal, and then you've got 1, redoing of a basketball court in New Silver. It's fairly easy.
Okay, all right, so,
Joanne?
now then,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
We're not going anywhere, Susan.
I see that.